Hey guys, welcome to Minnesota Tactical MinTech. This is Chris. I'm your host today, as always. I got something exciting for you today. I just picked up a thumb rest for the Canik Rival S, and so I picked up Canik's version of it. You can see it. It is their Canik Gray, but the only problem is that it does not fit in my brand new Comp 2 TLR1 holster, and so I am going to do some modifications, and I knew that was going to be the case when I bought it, but I also had plans for this. I am actually going to trim this down, make it a little bit more ergonomic. There is so much gas pedal there. There is so much material there. It's kind of unnecessary. All I want is my thumb to actually just hug against that frame, so I'm able to push into the gas pedal. I don't have huge thumbs. I don't have gorilla hands. And so it's not like I'm sitting there like that. And so I want my fingers, my thumb, to hug into the side of the frame just like that. And so right now it fits good until about, see if I can get a good close-up of that. Fits good until about that point right there. And so I'm going to trim some of that material off. I'm going to round my edges so that it is a little bit more ergonomic and much nicer, much easier to fit in my holster. So I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to do that. But also, if you're curious on how this thing attaches, it's just a single screw that goes into your basically it's a memory pad right here, opposite side obviously. That comes out, you pry this metal memory pad out, and then it's a single screw within the frame of the thumb rest gas pedal. And then you can see there are two Allen bolts at the top right here that are anchored down to the thumb rest. So this is actually quite a bit adjustable for different size hands. So I'm going to show you how that's done. But obviously I have marked it already. Let's see if I can get that. I've marked it already. You can see the line right there so that I can slide the pistol into the holster with no obstructions. So let's get to it. All right, we are out at the shop. I'm going to take this through. It's just aluminum, and I'm going to take it through the band saw, and we'll probably do some filing to get the rounded corners and stuff like that, so that'll be pretty easy. And so let's get started. All right, safety first. Not a whole lot of edge to grab onto, so you gotta be careful. Alright. That is what it's looking like. We're gonna file down the edges. I think I might actually take the bandsaw and just give it a little curve at the bottom, make it a little bit more aerodynamic. So let's do that. And then we'll file it. Perfect. All right. There's the piece that gets discarded, and that's what it's looking like so far. It's turning out good. All right, let's hit it with a file. I wanted to take more material off from the gas pedal so that it is more parallel and even, because I did notice that it had a little bit of a slope, going this way. And so I want to make sure that that is nice and straight. So anyway, I opted to take the metal file. I did actually use some painter's tape, blue painter's tape, taped everything up so it doesn't make so much of a mess. And so I'm going to do is file that, that little bit of a slope off. And I opted to leave it on the gun so that I have a little bit more leverage. And so I'm just going to lay it down on my tabletop just right here. And hopefully you guys can see that. But basically I'm just going to take, I'm going to put my glasses on, take my file and put more pressure on the end. And just make sure that I'm taking that end piece off from there, that slope. And also, I'm making sure that I'm not going to be hitting my gun, hitting the optic, hit the light, whatever. And so, I did discover that I'm going to have to modify the holster just a touch so that the gas pedal slides in to the holster. And I did sign, so there's a little bit of a ridge upon entry of the firearm into the holster, and so I did sand that down, and you guys will see that in a few minutes, just to make more of a smoother transition and prevent any sort of blockage for that. So it is smoothing out really nice. If you have a buddy, they can hold your firearm for you, and that way you can get it done a lot quicker by using both hands and sliding that metal file towards the front there. And so it is, we're almost there. In fact, I would guess that it's going to be a couple more passes and I will be smoothing that out. And so that's looking really, actually really good. You can see that. Let me just bring my camera closer. You can see that it is working very well, and it's nice and congruent. It's kind of nice that with those dimpled, the dimpled pad there, you can really tell how straight your cut is. And if you just need to straighten that out even more, you can use the lines, the dimple lines within the gas pedal itself. So it's feeling really good, really good, man. I cannot wait to get this to the range to see what kind of recoil mitigation we have with this gun. So trigger, Freedom Smith trigger. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but Freedom Smith tangent trigger is another addition. Let me tell you, it changes the game. Your the wall, the the amount of travel that is in this trigger compared to the flat trigger that comes with it is significant. I mean, you don't really realize, just because it's such a crisp trigger and it resets really well, that there is a lot of take up in that trigger getting to this point. Now right there, the one that I tested before on my subcompact was it cut down the travel significantly. I think it went from like 7 millimeters down to like 3 or 4, something like that. You'd have to watch that video, but it's a huge difference. So anyway, let's go back inside and I will show you the holster and what kind of modifications I made to that. I think that I am done with filing this trigger down, or filing this gas pedal down, so you can see it a little bit better how that is looking. It looks absolutely fantastic, and like I said, you still have plenty of shelf left on there. Alright guys, so I'm back inside, and this is basically a tabletop review of what's going on here. So there was a ridge that was right here that the gas pedal would hit up against, so I've taken a Dremel, sanded that down, also taken some high grit sandpaper as well. But I can see that inside, excuse me for my cough, it's so irritating. The inside, right in about this area, I'm going to have to sand down just a little bit more. But essentially what it's looking like is when I, hopefully you can see that, put it in there, we are sitting right there. I'm not sure if the view's all that great. The light is kind of, let me just grab a flashlight here and give you guys a better view of what that's looking like. There it is. Tone that down a little bit. All right, there we go. So you can see that there's a little bit of, there, perfect. It does rub up against it slightly, and so I'm going to take it down just by a hair so that it is much easier to unholster and reholster. You can tell that you have a high spot just by inserting it into your holster. So this is some of the Kydex that is rubbing off when I reholster and unholster. All right, guys, all the work has been done on the holster itself, all the smoothing of the edges. It's been polished in there. All the work is done except for the paint job on the gas pedal itself. And so that's looking really good. I might sand that down. And actually, I might turn the actual shoe pedal into same consistency as the slide. So it'll be like a polished aluminum. And I might do that in the burnt copper, which is pretty close to what that color is there. And so I still have a little bit of work to do, but really the work to the holster and the pistol, holster and gas pedal is good. And so it's working fantastic. Drawing from holster, getting on that gas pedal. I cannot wait to try that sucker out. All right, guys, so I'm back, and I have to say that the skinny pedal turned out fantastically awesome. And what I did is I didn't want to leave it as that Canik gray, and so instead I stripped the pedal itself and all the way down to bare aluminum, sanded that down, and then polished it up with Dremel and a polishing wheel and the compound. And then the bracket that it fits into, I have a high temp VHT enamel paint that usually would use to paint engine blocks. I actually painted the bracket in what's called burnt copper, and it matches perfectly with the other orange accents. So this is what it looks like. There it is, polished aluminum. I call it the skinny pedal because I cut off a little weight. Not much, but 1/4 inch at least. So cut that down, polish the edges, polish the pedal itself. And this is that VHT high temp enamel paint used for engine blocks. And so it really turned out super awesome. And so great color, great match. Perfect. I didn't want to overwhelm the gun with completely painting the pedal orange also. That'd just be too much. So I think I did a pretty nice job of matching some of the serration, high temp or high polished serrations on the slide. Matches the pedal now. So just a little bit of information. Also, when you finally put this thing together, make sure that you Loctite the screw that goes into the bracket itself, and then make sure you Loctite your two hold down screws for the gas pedal. That way they're not going to work their way out. So hopefully you enjoyed this little bit of video, and if you are in the market for a gas pedal for the Canik Rival S, don't be afraid to do a little work and make it your own. Like I said, I didn't want something that's stuck out there so much and I had to order a new holster or anything like that. I made work what was already available by doing a little bit of the modification. So yeah, there you go. It is sick. All right, guys. Again, like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. I'm sure I'll have a bunch of other stuff coming up. I still do have to do a video on my USPSA and tactical games setup as far as the belt and all that good stuff. So that is still coming up. I thought I would do this video first because I was so jacked up about the skinny pedal. So, all right, guys, have a great one. Be blessed.